State College on the 12th of January here gets 8,628 fans in the building. It's a sellout. Cactus Jack is super over here. We're seeing interview clips from him talking about his time in Japan and ECW. He's even going to reference Chainsaw Charlie as Terry Funk. You know, the first time we see him, we don't acknowledge he's Terry Funk. Almost
Chainsaw Charlie, damn it.
I mean, I'm sure somebody tried it the first week and then said, what are we doing? Right?
Chainsaw Charlie. He's a butcher.
We got to talk about one of the more interesting moments in Royal Rumble history. The Royal Rumble in 1998 is where Mick does all three gimmicks in the Rumble. We see him as Mankind. We see him as Cactus Jack. We see him as Dude Love. This is one of the more iconic Royal Rumble moments. What do you remember about this idea and the execution?
Thank you. I loved it. It was one of those deals. You had them all on there. So why not? Why not use all three of them? Takes up 3 slots and they're all entertaining. So to me, it was a natural. And that was one of those as you're doing it where you just start laughing and saying, hey, God, we have to do this. If we can't do this, what the hell? Why are we here? So, yeah, I thought that was excellent. Very entertaining. Mick was a perfect guy to pull it off. I think the only thing Mick was upset about was the fact that he had to wear different tights. He had the blue, the brown, and the black. You know, later on, I think Cactus, Mick, Mankind, and Dude Love all just wore sweatpants. The same pair of sweatpants, too. But in this case, he had the black for Cactus Jack, he had the brown for Mankind, he had the blue for Dude Love.
Do you think there were any other performers who were upset that Mick got 3 spots and maybe cost 2 other guys their spot in the match?
I don't care.
Pay-per-view payoff?
I don't care.
Yeah.
Cactus, Mankind, and Mick all earned their spots individually, by God.
There you go. January 19th, we're in Fresno, California. The Quebecers who've just signed new contracts are going to be coming back here to wrestle Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie. We get some shenanigans because Cactus Jack is going to clean house with a barbed wire baseball bat. Was there any hesitation to introducing barbed wire bats into Monday Night Raw?
Not the kind we use. No, ours were safe.
Got it. Carl has just turned 30, and Jacques was 37. And people are talking about them in the write-ups here as if they're these over-the-hill performers at 30 and 37. Why do you think the conversation changes so often about what old is and what's past its expiration date in wrestling?
Well, I think that it really depends on the amount of exposure talent has had. So while 37's young, but Jacques been wrestling since he was 16. Or somewhere around there. Feels like he's been wrestling since he was 8, but there was a lot of him. He had a lot of exposure and had been around for a long time and in a highly viewed period. So there's a feeling, look, man, you could be 2 years and people think, holy shit, yeah, great example. Stone Cold. Steve had 2 good years. And then Steve's injuries and what have you, it got him out. And he was still on the program, but he wasn't able to work. People think, oh my God, he was there for 20 years. It wasn't. Rock, same difference. So I think that the feeling of them coming from a different era in many regards, where we had the enhancement matches, and that's what you saw on TV and so on and so forth. They've been around a while. Not even Carl Ouellet, even. He was Jean-Pierre Lafitte, Ziparet. Did you know that he was blind in one eye?
I've heard that he can perform miracles.
Some bitch could catch a ball, Conrad.
It's crazy.
Wow. It's a miracle. Watch this. It's like I'm gonna. Okay, hang on. I can't do it.
How could you?
Because I only got one eye. I got one eye shut. It's pretty fucking hard. I tried to do that.
So let's talk about something that jumped off the page to me. The NWA.
Motherfucker, that's not easy.
It's not a miracle when you do it.
It's a miracle. Admit it's a miracle.
February 7th, Stratford, New Jersey, the Sterling High School gym. Cactus Jack is going to wrestle Doug Gilbert. Mr. Fuji's on the card. This is not someone doing an impression of Mick Foley. You're actually allowing a third-party booking to happen here in February of 1998, like 6 weeks before Mike Tyson and WrestleMania are here. This just jumps off the page to me. Were you surprised you're still doing it in 98? Why was this even allowed?
This was a favor. This was a favor for Mick. That's all. We had complete control over it, and I knew Doug. Trusted Doug. Don't trust Mick, but I trusted Doug. So, yeah, it was just a favor. Kind of a one-off. Wouldn't do that for everybody. But February, Mick's not going to do anything stupid. You hope.
You hope.
You hope.
The February 2nd episode of Monday Night Raw from Indianapolis is a pretty notable one. You know, there's lots of great wrestling that happens on it, but this is the one where we see Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack, who've been battling each other. An incredible match here. But the New Age Outlaws come in, lock them into a dumpster, and push them off the stage in the dumpster. And we play it seriously. And it feels like this is going to be one of the more impactful moments we've seen on a Monday Night Raw. I mean, we're getting the hush tones from the announcers, and they're treating it very seriously. And we're seeing a crying Sonny. And then later, of course, we see them do a run up, a run in attached to IVs and silliness. I mean, you were right there with delivering a serious angle, but then came back pretty campy. Do you remember that being debated?
What was campy about it?
Well, just the idea that Terry Funk's coming back wearing a hospital robe and grungy underwear, but still running around with a chainsaw, and Cactus Jack is coming out hooked up to an IV. Like, it's a little over the top, is it not?
No, actually, no. If you've ever seen guys that have actually done that, I've actually seen, Eddie Guerrero for one, rip the IVs out and just take off with only one boot and come down. To me, it's entertaining. I look at it as what would Terry Funk do? And that's something that Terry Funk would do. And we'll get into when we get into WrestleMania of exactly what Terry Funk did after WrestleMania as well, with a very legitimate injury. And when you take these characters and you mix it with the human being, frankly, man, that is what they would do. The real life people, that's what they would do. And having seen that stuff, and I know you've never seen it in real life. You've never been back there when they've had, paramedics and doctors trying to put IVs in guys that don't want IVs in them. And either ripping the IVs out of their arm or ripping the IVs out of the bag and getting up and leaving. I've seen it. It's happened. I mean, that's, it's an alternate life. And a lot of people look at it as, I've never seen that, so it's never happened. I have. So to me, it's like, well, you know what, man? Terry, that pissed off. I could see Terry doing this. I have seen Terry do this. So it's a stretch. It's an exaggeration. It's embellishment. Yes, all the above, but it's also based in reality.